I'm not even on the screen. I'm saying hello. Hello, everybody, or one other person. Because I'm in YouTube too, so that counts as two, I think. I hope everybody's well. Pretty casual. I know there's other things going on right now, so I know people will slowly start wandering in here soon, I hope. Sorry about that. I want to click that. I got two good videos lined up for tonight. We didn't even do video uploads. I call them upload. Last week, so we're going to do a couple good ones. Bizarre disappearances vanished into the thin air in front of witnesses. And Shadow People, part 1.5, ongoing investigation. We watched the first one a while back ago. Unless you want to rewatch that one, we can do that. But I'll ask again before, as people come in. I'll wait a little bit for folks to come in. So I hope everybody's having a good weekend and had a good week. And I appreciate everybody that wandered in here Wednesday night. I had a good time. I think I'm sure I had to get it. It's a weeknight, so those are going to be 1:30, maybe 2. But these nights we can do. It's too hot to do anything outside. It is nasty here. I don't know how many of you folks have experienced this stagnant air. We just got a bunch of storms. Still got more coming in, I believe. Let me look here. The National Weather Service. Then I'll check my radar like I always do. But yeah, we were getting slammed pretty good. It looks like maybe later on we'll get hit again. But yeah, we had a pretty good one. I mean, we had a crack of lightning. I know that sucker was close. It had to hit either the creek or something. Man, that thing cracked. You could feel it in the house. Everything flickered. I was like, no, please, I don't want to have another Saturday night where I can't stream. No, don't do it to me. But nope, it came back on. It took a little bit for the internet. Kind of came on and off a couple times, but everything was up and running. So I knew we'd just keep it. But yeah, that's the excitement of my night. I've been just kind of getting small stuff done. It's been too hot to work outside. And I really need to get the grass cut. But it was a nightmare today. Man, I couldn't believe it. You go out there, you about gag. My son went to a softball game. Well, he had practice, and he got back. He said, didn't do nothing. Thought it was going to. He said it was sprinkled. That's all it did here. But you could hear the thunder. I mean, for about an hour, you could hear the thunder in the background. It all sounded west of us. I thought for sure we'd get some of that, but we barely got that. And then this big storm rolled through. It turned the sky yellow. It's kind of creepy. I would have, if I'd known it was that big, I'd have gone outside and took pictures of it and see if I could catch it rolling in. You know, those things can look kind of ominous. And that's pretty typical. We don't get the storms like we used to. But I don't want to. I want to be careful because last time I said that we got a storm a couple of weeks ago that literally knocked my power out for almost 48 hours. So, and that's nothing compared to what other people have been going through. So I ain't gonna complain. It's not worth it. It's just a bummer when I couldn't stream. I was really hoping to stream that night, and then the following night we didn't even play a video. But I'm going to tonight. I got two good ones lined up. So as I wait for a few more people to come in, make yourself known. Say hello. Like I said, I hope everybody's doing good. I know a lot of people coming looking for Gemma. She's off on my Wednesdays and Thursdays. She's taking it easy. She sleeps. Unlike me. Well, she kind of sleeps. If she ain't looking at TikTok or spying on. That's all right. It's her channel. She's allowed to spy. She can ghost me anytime. Other than that, I'm just waiting for a few more people to come in. I kept saying I was going to start it last week, and we just had a good conversation going. So I'm going to make sure I do it tonight because that's what this is about, is playing some old ones. Excuse me. The first one I'm going to play, People Who Have Vanished in Full View of Witnesses. That one's 4 years old. That was done in 1921. 2021. So she's, I think she still kind of has her pixie cut. Other than that, we're just going to hang out and chat as people wander in and out, which I appreciate. Make sure you hit that like button, and donate if you can. Keep the channel going. She's got plans. Supposed to have a meeting Sunday, so we'll see what goes down. We could change it up a little bit. We were actually talking about streaming Fortnite one night. Us playing Fortnite. But we might have to start another channel for that one because we get at it. We've had fun. Fortnite's a good relaxing, give us a chance to unwind, talk. So yeah. Other than that, that's about it. Like I said, I know there's a lot going on. I know there's people streaming and stuff, so that's all good. They have probably better conversations than I'm having right now, so that's yeehaw with me. But I do have two good ones. We can do that one, and that the other one is, like I said, Shadow People 1.5. That one is 4 years old too. And I can always play the first one. We did watch it a while ago, but I know there's been a lot of people, new people coming and going out of this, coming into the stream. So if you want to watch that one too, instead of doing the people vanishing and playing in the view of others or witnesses, I can save that for next week, and we can do those two together, one after another. So just let me know. Not just two of us, so we're down to two people, me and one other. But I guess I'll just go ahead and start this one, and then as people come in, I'll just let them decide. So here we go, one other person. I hope you're having a wonderful night. Let me get this baby going. I know Jim will bring them in. I'm just like a fancy mediator. Hey, Vixen, hello. It's just me and you and one other person, Vixen. That's okay. I'm getting ready to start this, but I can hold off. I usually wait till like 11:30. I know everybody's still running around. I hope you're having a good weekend, madam. I should say. Thank you for the bacon. Actually, bacon sounds good right now. And I hope you didn't have nothing planned for this weekend. Or are you guys getting crazy weather too? I know Jersey's going to get what we got today. I've been watching the lineup. It's just going to go straight out to her. So I hope they don't get too bad on her. I know they're supposed. It just that weather gets when these warm fronts come through with the cold front and hit that ocean water, man, they can do some crazy stuff. So my dad has been working on he's painting your lighthouse. So this week, probably by the end of the week, Vixen, I should be mailing 2 to you, and then when he's done with the lighthouse, I'll mail it to you. You can do whatever you want with him. Bless his heart. He loves to paint. It's good for him. But he's taking his time with it when he goes, I'm trying to make it as nice as I can. So it's hard to believe he paints because he is a little bit colorblind. He does mix colors up a little bit. But he does a good job for his age. I will. No, thank you, Vixen. It says thank you for at least trying to send him 2 pies. He says he wanted to pay for them. We both did. But since you won't do that, he wants to send you something. So I'm letting him take care of it. Plus, he snacked on the goodies too. So I drank the root. So that was all mine. I wouldn't let nobody touch that. The gummies disappeared really fast. He liked the Boston beans. And the taffy. I can't eat the taffy, but those guys had it. I think Giles took like half of it to work and said it was gone in a day. So yeah. And that moose head you sent, man, you talk about maple. I started to take a bite out of it, and I'm like, man, you could just smell the maple coming off that. So what I did was I made a big old bowl of oatmeal and set that sucker right on top of it. It was perfect. So yeah, it's a good idea. I did that too because it worked perfect. But yeah, we're gonna people come in. I mean, I may go ahead and play since we've already watched the first of the Shadow People. Yeah, I finally found the second one. Well, it's not really a second one. It's a 1.5. These both of them are 4. The ones I got, all 3 of them are like 4 years old. So I can play the one I want to play first, which is people vanishing in front of witnesses, and then I may play the original one of Shadow People, then the one after that, depending on how time is, how many people are hanging out and enjoying it. Yes, it was good. I thought that, putting on that oatmeal, but yeah, it was good. We totally enjoyed what we got though. So you still made a bunch of guys happy. So thank you very much. We do appreciate it very, very much. So he's going to exchange the favor. If he wouldn't have, I probably would have. So don't worry about it. Like I said, I got your address. What I'll do as soon as I mail it to UPS and everything, I'll give you the tracking number, and that way you keep an eye on it. Usually in Maine, you should have it within 4 to 5 days. It's going to be a big package, so you'll know when it's there. I think he sent in 2, a big one and a small. Wasn't that it? Not very. People are not very talkative. There's 4 of us now, so that means you and somebody else is in here. That's fine. I like to keep the count. It's just fun. Gives me something to do. I also keep timestamps in my thing, so that way I know when I go back and look at somebody left me a link or something, I know where it's at. But I mean, everything's pretty much too. Let me get this ready to go. You'll probably hear it. But yeah, this will be a good one. I remember this one. Okay, cool breeze. Hope it's not very big. Don't have a whole lot of walls, but it might be. I'll measure it for you and let you know. That way you know what's coming. You just put it somewhere until you find wall space. I'll pass it forward. But yeah, I think one of them is a fairly good size. This one, then I think he sent in a smaller. Now the lighthouse is, like a full canvas. I don't have sizes, so I'll go down and measure and let you know. If not, I'll make him send us. He's got some small stuff, and I can actually redo the one he's doing and put it. He likes to paint big. It's a lot easier for him. He likes the small ones, but he really likes the big ones too. It's easier for him that if he how picky artists are. We always constantly erase and redo. So that's why he likes the big ones. But yeah, I'll make sure. If not, I don't tell you. Yeah. Use it as a window cover. No, I take a lot of pride in his work. I've got a few things that when I was living outside of the house on my own, I had him hanging out. Got a lot of compliments. When they tell him how old he is when he did them, when you start telling somebody, oh, he was 70, 80, or 90 years old. So you're getting stuff now. If you get it when you get the lighthouse, it'll probably be one of the last things he'll probably do. He's had to really take his time, but he's been down there working on it. So I'm proud of it. I like seeing him working on stuff, especially on his mowers. He likes working on engines, and it makes him happy. He's content, but he's getting so hard he can't sit still, and he shakes, gets frustrated. Bless his heart. I know that. So, okay, I guess I'm going to go ahead and start this first one, and we'll get this rocking. Sit back and watch. I'll leave my mic on so I can say hi to folks coming in. Okay, here we go. Let me get all up and go. Let's share this baby. Nope, never. There we go. They changed the screen around. They've changed stuff up, and they keep updating on the StreamYard. So I keep trying to figure out how. There we go. Share. Let me see how I look on here. Let me put me down here in the corner. I'll make it big when I start it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start this. I'm going to leave the mic on.
To my channel, and if you're new here, just welcome. My name.
You might want to turn up a little bit. The sound is a little low on this one, so if you can't hear it, just adjust your volume. If you got headsets on, it might be a little easier. But here we go.
Is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be talking about bizarre disappearances. And I didn't know what else to call this video, but the disappearances we're going to be talking about today are people that allegedly disappeared into thin air right in front of a witness or witnesses. As far as I could tell, none of these were debunked. If they were, kind of take it with a grain of salt then and move on to the next one. I believe that these are real experiences. If you don't, that's okay. Let me know in the comments, but let's just jump right in. On November 25th, 1809, a diplomat named Benjamin Bathurst was on his way to Berlin to get a train back from London. He was returning to London from a business trip he had gone on in Vienna. On the way, though, Bathurst had to stop for food and also new horses, so he made it to the town of Perleberg, where he got off and accomplished these things. Bathurst was traveling with an assistant, so once he was done eating and knew that the horses were going to be ready, he walked on ahead of the assistant and said, "I'll meet you at the carriage. I'll wait for you there." The assistant was to go and fetch the horses and then meet Bathurst back at the carriage. However, the assistant was just a few steps behind him as he walked out. Bathurst seemed to be going in the direction of the carriage, and then the assistant didn't see him anymore and figured that he would go and fetch the horses, see him back at the carriage. But just a few minutes later, it took him like 3 to 4 minutes to go and get the horses who were right there. And when he got back to the carriage door was open, but the diplomat was completely missing and nowhere to be seen. Now, remember, the assistant had seen him going towards the carriage and assumed he had gone there. But not only was there no sign of Benjamin Bathurst, there was no sign of where he might have went. There were no footprints. There was nothing. It was open fields for miles and miles, and you could see so far in all directions. It would have been impossible for Bathurst to have kind of just walked over a hill and disappeared. He obviously did not walk in any one direction because you could see so far. Completely impossible for him to have been out of sight range. In this case, because the missing man was a diplomat, there was obviously an extremely thorough investigation that was launched pretty much immediately. Searches of the nearby woods were carried out. Police went house to house and even had dogs come in to sniff something that had his scent and try to find him, but it was all to no avail. They even dragged the S.D.N.Y River, which was nearby, and they found nothing. In the surrounding woods of the restaurant where he and the assistant had last been eating and where the carriage was, which was found with the door wide open, there was a restroom for hikers and campers. I'm assuming that's what the restroom was for. And in the restroom, there was a coat, and in the nearby aforementioned woods, a pair of boots, but neither of which could ever be positively linked to Benjamin Bathurst. So though they found those things, the assistant couldn't say one way or another whether these things belonged to Benjamin or not. At the time of this disappearance, the region was war ravaged and ruled by Napoleon, so being a diplomat was dangerous work. And the man's wife, Bathurst's wife, always believed he was kidnapped by the French. But it should be noted here that Napoleon himself always personally denied this. He was asked specifically if he had anything to do with Bathurst's disappearance, and he denied it. Bathurst, to this day, was never seen or heard from again, and he seemed to vanish into thin air. There is no definitive evidence which was ever uncovered that led to his whereabouts. Just poof, gone. Believe it or not, it's becoming more and more common these days for people to disappear right in the sight of witnesses. And this is the age of constant surveillance, right? It's not hard to believe that sometimes these things would be captured on camera. However, even back in those times when videos didn't exist, when security cameras didn't exist, people would sometimes vanish right in front of others, like directly in front of their eyes. Here's one of those stories. Just a few years after Benjamin Bathurst's disappearance in 1815, there was a prisoner at the Prussian prison Weichelmundy, which I know I'm mispronouncing, but I'll put it on the screen.
Sorry about that, folks.
DiDerici was in this prison because he had been convicted of assuming the identity of his already deceased landlord. No word on whether or not DiDerici had killed the landlord, but I don't think he did. I think the landlord was deceased when DiDerici came upon him. The identity theft allegedly included him wearing the deceased man's clothes and even his wig in order to go into the bank and withdraw a large sum of money on the pretense that he was this landlord. DiDerici was eventually caught and was now serving a 10-year sentence in this Prussian prison. The story goes that as DiDerici was being led around the prison yard in his chains one day, it's reported by other prisoners and guards alike that he started to kind of just fade away, just seemed to be erased right out of existence, but slowly. DiDerici slowly faded and became transparent until the point his chains and manacles crashed down and clattered to the prison yard ground, as there was nothing for them to be attached to anymore. An investigation into the case would obviously be conducted. I mean, a man just randomly disappears from a prison. Obviously, people are thinking that he may have been murdered by guards or another prisoner, and there's some kind of cover up. But no, there were statements from more than 30 witnesses who all stated the exact same thing, that DiDerici simply faded out of existence. Witnesses stated, quote, he had become slowly invisible until he wasn't there anymore, end quote. The authorities actually ended up closing the case, and how they wrote that they closed it, they put it down as a, quote, an act of God, end quote. And that was their official finding as to what had happened to the prisoner DiDerici, an act of God. Maybe it was. No foul play was seemingly happening, and nobody ever found a trace of him. I came across a similar case in a place called Leamington Spa in England in 1873. A shoemaker named James Worson was out with his friends one night when, seemingly out of nowhere, he made a bet with his friends that he could run without stopping 16 miles to the nearby Coventry. Why he would make this bet, I don't know if this was fun for men back then. You go out drinking and then, you make a bet that you can run 16 miles without stopping. I don't know what the heck this was, but that's what he wanted to do. So his friends didn't believe that he would be able to go this far without stopping, let alone 16 miles. So they took him up on the little wager and kind of dared him to try to run the 16 miles to the Coventry without stopping. Obviously, they wanted to see how far he could go, and also make sure he wasn't somehow going to be cheating by, pitching a ride or whatever he was thinking. So as Worson ran as fast as he could, his friends very slowly followed in a carriage behind him. Worson ran for quite a few miles, so many, in fact, that his friends were starting to think that they were going to lose the bet because he was going to make it, in their opinion, to the Coventry. Suddenly, and with no warning, Worson tripped over something in the road, which was never discovered or determined what he did actually trip over, and he went sprawling forward toward the ground. However, according to all of his friends who were there to witness this event, he never actually hit the ground. See, he went forward as though he were going to hit the ground, as if he were going to just fall flat on his face or perhaps scrape his hands, as one would normally do when falling after tripping over something while you're already in a run. But it said that the second before he should have hit the ground, Worson literally just blinked right out of existence. Despite a thorough search and investigation carried out by the authorities and James's friends and family, nothing ever came of any of it. He blinked out of existence, never to be seen or heard from again. And again, there was no evidence of foul play. Nobody knew what to think. There were multiple witnesses who all said the same thing and kept the same straight story. The witnesses, his friends, said he was simply, quote, here 1 minute and gone the next, end quote. There are plenty of cases reported throughout history of this strange phenomenon of human beings seemingly disappearing without a trace, blinking out of existence, erasing out of existence by slowly disappearing, either in front of witnesses or not. In the same era as the previous two stories I just recounted to you, there is a rather famous story who happened to a celebrity of the time. The man's name was Lois LaPrince, and he was credited with being the first person to ever capture moving images on film. Quite a contributor to the modern movies and cinema. On September 16, 1890, he boarded a train to his home in Paris after visiting his brother in Dijon. He was going back to Paris. The prince was seen again by many witnesses checking in his luggage and then entering his private cabin. These same witnesses also gave testimony to investigators that they never saw him leave from his train cabin the entire ride back to Paris. He went in and he never came out. When they reached their destination, he did not disembark, and a porter was sent to the room to find out what was wrong, obviously just assuming that LaPrince had fallen asleep and, he would just wake him and tell him that they were there, no big deal. However, LaPrince was not in the room, and not only was he gone, but his luggage was also gone, and neither he nor his luggage was anywhere to be found. During the investigation, they searched the entire train ride to make sure that he didn't jump off or fall off or get pushed off. There was no evidence foul play was afoot. His luggage was never found. He was never found. There was never a single witness who came forward or who was questioned who said that he had left his cabin. It's like he went in and he disappeared, and his luggage disappeared as well, which to me is the craziest thing. It's like he took his belongings into his cabin and then vanished into thin air with them. There were no signs of foul play, like I said, and everyone said there was absolutely nothing amiss or abnormal about the train ride. There were no noises coming from his cabin. Some people believe that Thomas Edison had something to do with the disappearance of LaPrince, as he was planning on going to America to patent his movie picture machine, a machine which Edison had also been working on for years, and LaPrince was just a little bit further ahead of him. No evidence one way or another was found. Let's work our way up to the modern day timeline here, and we'll start with the story of Bruce Campbell. In April of 1950, Bruce and his wife were traveling by car from Massachusetts to visit their son, who lived all the way across country. I'm not sure which state, but they had a very far way to travel. During this trip, Bruce and his wife decide to stop in Jacksonville, Illinois, to rest for the night and get a motel room. When Mrs. Campbell woke the following morning, she saw Bruce was no longer in bed with her and figured he had just gotten up really early. However, she then realized his clothes were still folded where they had been the night before. And this also is when it dawned on her that her husband was nowhere in the room, and she became quite panicked because she knew he would never go out in public in his pajamas, and that's what he had to have done had he left the room. All of his personal belongings, including his wallet with all of his money inside it, were also exactly where he had put them the night before he laid down to go to bed, and they were completely untouched. There was an intense search and thorough investigation, but Bruce Campbell was never seen or heard from again. And again, no evidence of foul play, no blood, nothing suspicious. Just he was there 1 minute and gone in the next. Poof. Here is the story that always made me think alternate dimension, of people just slipping into other dimensions. If you listen to me talk on Fireside Chat, you'll know that I feel sometimes like I slipped a dimension during one of my childhood sicknesses, but that's a whole other story. So similarly, in 1975, a couple named Jackson and Martha Wright were traveling from their home in New Jersey to New York City. According to Jackson, he and his wife were driving through the Lincoln Tunnel when they noticed a large amount of condensation on all of the car's windows. Jackson said that he pulled over, and while he attempted to wipe off the front windows, his wife got out and went to the back to wipe off the back windows. He says about a minute or two later, he turns to ask her how she's doing.
I'm here. I'm just messing around with the gizmos.
He states he had not seen or heard anything unusual up to that point,
stuff
and it was only a matter of seconds before he had turned to her. Like, she got out of the car, and it was a second or two before he asked if she was okay and noticed she was missing. There were no other cars that could have hit her. Obviously, he would have seen her get hit by a car. There's nowhere she could have went. He called her name and even tried looking inside of and under the vehicle, but to no avail. By now, you know the story. Vanished without a trace and seemingly into nowhere without any provocation or idea as to what could have happened. Some people think this one is kind of suspicious, but there were witnesses in the small amount of cars that were driving by, and while no one saw her blink out of existence, nobody saw anything else strange either. Could she have not been in the car? Could he? I mean, we can get into all kinds of ideas or possibilities as to what could have happened, but this is allegedly a disappeared without a trace story, and it's one that always stuck with me because it reminds me of, I just get the feeling somehow that Jackson's wife switched dimensions. There was some kind of glitch in the Matrix that, which, by the way, I am currently scripting a video about Matrix glitches, so stay tuned for that. Moving on. In even more recent years, there are still more and more cases popping up, despite, as I said before, the age of surveillance we're living in. Same story, different decade. Let's start with Brandon Swanson. On May 14th, 2008, 19-year-old college student Brandon Swanson was on his way to visit his family in Marshall, Wisconsin, when he suddenly lost control of his vehicle and crashed into a ditch. He wasn't injured at all, but his car was completely totaled, so he had lost the ability to drive it. He was close enough that he could call his parents for a ride, and they readily agreed without a problem to go and pick him up. He gave them some details about which exit he was at and the surrounding areas, and his parents went on their way expecting to do a small, half-hour drive and pick their son up. They ended up calling Brandon back, however, because though they followed his instructions exactly, they weren't able to find him, and his dad was asking him for more and more details. And this is when Brandon told his father that he was headed toward a town called Lind. As they were still talking, Brandon reportedly cursed. He either said the F word or, quote, "oh shit," end quote, and then the line went dead. So he cursed and the line went completely dead. His parents tried over and over again to call him back, but it would just go to voicemail. They never got any answer, so they decided to call the authorities. Though Brandon's car was eventually found, by the way, nowhere near Lind, he also wasn't where he originally said that he was, and in fact was miles and miles his car was found away from there. He was never seen or heard from again. It's unknown what happened to him, and also, why did he curse right before his phone went dead? That is not, I can do a whole video and list like 8 or 10 random disappearances of people who seemingly vanished without a trace that made a phone call before they died and cursed or said something like, "oh my God," or something like that. And then the phone died and they were never seen or heard from again, and the phone never picked up again. So, and usually in these cases, I can go even further of things that I've researched and tell you that in these cases, a lot of the time, if the phone is found, it was smashed. Don't even get me started on Brandon Lawson. On April Fool's Day, which is April 1st in 2006, a medical student from Ohio State University named Brian Schaefer, I know most of us know this one, but how could I not include poor Brian? He went out with some friends for drinks at a bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. As the night wore on, Brian and his friends drank more and more, and by the end of the night, Brian was reportedly highly intoxicated. Between 1:30 and 2 a.m., Brian drunk dialed his girlfriend. I don't know what the conversation entailed or if he even got a hold of her or left a message. But after this drunk dial, he was seen outside of the bar talking to two women on the surveillance footage. But it's important to note here that the bar was in some kind of building where you have to take the escalator up from the main entrance to get to this bar. So though he was outside the bar talking to these women, he was actually still inside the building. He would have had to take the escalators down. There were no other entrances or exits to this bar except for one small construction area, which was, I believe, covered by video surveillance.
Yeah, that construction area was all covered up.
Because as the night wound down and Brian's friends looked for him to leave, he was nowhere to be found. In fact, when he was seen speaking to the women in front of the bar was the last time anyone, including any kind of security or surveillance cameras, had seen him. That's the last time he was seen on the property. He was never seen leaving the bar, though, either. He was never seen or heard from again, and to this day, his whereabouts and what happened to him are unknown. There was absolutely no evidence of foul play ever found during many subsequent investigations, and it's still considered an unsolved disappearance. There's other tragic things connected to Brian Schaefer. Again, I can do a whole video just on his story, on any one of these stories, really. This one definitely had enough information.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think everyone's
Maybe I'll get her to do an
familiar with it.
update on
If
this.
you're not familiar with
That
Brian
show
Schaefer and
got
you want
all
to hear
kinds of
his
theories.
story in like a threefer, like when I do like 3 separate stories of random disappearances, Brandon Lawson, things like that, let me know. Another
Matt was
more
actually
recent
living on
case of
campus when
someone
this went
seemingly
down.
here one minute and gone the next, as they just walked right off the face of the earth, allegedly in front of a witness, took place on July 18th, 2007, when a woman named Barbara Boldick and her male friend Jim Ramaker were hiking in the Bitterroot Mountains in Montana in the United States. Jim holds firm that Barbara was only walking 20 to 30 feet behind him the entire hike. And he would randomly turn and look at her while they were walking because they were having a conversation about the scenery, about the hike, just about life in general. And they were taking a very slow, scenic hike. They weren't in any kind of rush. According to Ramaker, it was during one of these frequent stops made to admire the scenery in front of them when Barbara was there 1 minute, and when he turned for just a split second and back again, she was gone. No trace of her at all. Barbara was never found, nor was there any trace of her, and Jim Ramaker was cleared almost immediately, as police could think of no motive for why he would want to get rid of her or done any harm to her. Plus, again, there was never ever any evidence of foul play at all. And like the others on the list, she was very simply there 1 minute and gone the next. Can you imagine being the witness to this? I mean, the Lord only knows what happens to the victims, to the people who disappear, but can you imagine being a witness to
And
this?
she hasn't
How
even touched
devastating that
on
would be,
the
and how
ones that happen right
suspicious and
there in the
suspect and
national
shady
parks
you'd
where
be.
people
And you
walk
might
around
even
a
go
corner and
to
they're
prison
gone
for the rest of your
in
life
front
or
of
be
their
on death
friends.
row.
They go around the corner and they're not there.
If some coincidental, speck of blood or something happened where it might look like foul play. I mean, I would be terrified something like this is going to happen to someone I love while I'm standing right there. Not just for losing my loved one and thinking for the rest of my life, where did they go? But for the fact that, could I possibly be blamed for this? I mean, it's scary all the way around. Think about it. While the people on this list were never seen or heard from again, it's important to note that this isn't always the case. The fact that many people who had seemingly disappeared without a trace do in fact come back, but for one reason or another, it's never known what happened to them during their time away or gone. They're almost always found unconscious or semi-conscious and unable to speak or
They seem to
remember.
be out of it.
Or if they are found just fine, they're children who aren't old enough to speak, or they have some kind of disability for whatever reason, which prevents them from speaking about what happened. So we still don't know what happened. Every once in a while, someone will remember detailed information about where they'd gone or what had happened to them. And most of the time, they don't ever want to talk about it, and they spend the rest of their lives without talking about it. There's usually some kind of deathbed confession sometimes. But when they do remember and they do decide to talk about it, the facts are always so bizarre and downright unbelievable that it lends no clarity or credibility to the situation and makes things even more confusing and difficult to try and piece together and understand. There's been talk of abductions and kidnappings, kind of like a human element to all of this, or at least most of these vanishings. But to those of you who subscribe to these theories, I ask you this. How in the world could a human being be so quick as to abduct a person in full view of another person or group of other people in a matter of the blink of an eye, and not only not be seen, but also they're able to somehow do this without ever leaving any evidence behind at all or getting any kind of resistance from the victim? To me personally, suggesting a human element makes no sense because humans are not perfect and make mistakes. Even if just one person who we spoke about in this video was in fact kidnapped for whatever reason, I still have a hard time believing the person doing the abducting could be so efficient, let alone in every single case that ever happens. I guess some can say that some of these stories are so old that maybe things have been exaggerated and or flat out made up for the sake of dramatic effect. Maybe the details have been made more interesting or more fantastical or even more scarce as the stories got to be retold, right? The more you retell it, it's like a game of, what do you call it, Chinese telephone, or some people call it just the telephone game, right? By the time you get to the end of it, what the original person said is a mess. Is this possible? Sure. Is it very likely? Probably. But again, over dramatizing for dramatic effect can only be the reason for so many of these cases. It can't possibly be the reason for every single one of them. Just like human abduction, a human element cannot be the answer to all of these happenings. There are some I believe in more than others, but I think even the ones which are almost obviously made up to some are the most believable ones to others as well. This is all about our own beliefs and even our own experiences, as I say all the time on this channel. These are the things which help us to choose what we believe in. And I have to say, I don't even have a healthy skepticism for most of the stories that I just told you. I believe pretty much 100% in all of them. I've personally encountered, seen,
Brian
heard,
Schaefer one,
researched, figured out,
it was there.
uncovered
It was
way
weird.
too much.
People were
And for
freaked
me,
out.
the unknown is becoming more and more common, and never getting any answers is becoming more and more acceptable, honestly, with all of the research that I do, which kind of sucks because I mean, I want answers just as much as the next person, but they're just not available in a lot of these cases. And that's what makes it so incredibly interesting to people. It's a phenomenon now. It's all some channels even talk about. Despite what you all believe in, I hope that you found this short and kind of to the point, quirky little video entertaining. At most, I hope it makes you think and want to learn more and research more. And please send me your encounters of anything strange and bizarre to my email. I know many of you already did, but I got to tell you, I ran out of space. So
yeah, if you
people
guys
were telling me they were sending me things, but then I wasn't getting them because I had to buy more space, which I finally did. And then I would get the list of listener stories together and then I would forget about them and not know where I put them. So if you want your story told, whether you told it to me or not already, if you haven't emailed it to me within the past 2
but
weeks,
if you
months,
really honestly, I love the
5 months ago,
so
guys, that's how behind I am. I'm really sorry. I've been letting my emails just go, like pretending like they don't even exist.
The screen.
So if you wouldn't mind just re-emailing it to me, just resend it. I would really appreciate it so I can put out the listener stories that I've been promising for months now. I'm trying to get back on the ball. I got very overwhelmed for a little while there with everything I was doing, but I kind of found my system now. I kind of found my groove, if you will. So guys, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of these stories. Let me know about your experiences. Send it to email GemmaJadeYT@gmail.com. Please share. I'm still trying to get that subscriber count up. Be sure to like. My views far surpass my likes.
Yes,
and
please
that's
make
kind
sure
of,
you thumbs up the videos.
You know, something that I would like to change. I'd like to get the thumbs up to be at least a little bit closer to equal with all of the views. I know that it's never like an equal amount. So anyway, please be sure and check out the description box. I will leave 2 ways to financially support the channel through my Patreon and my PayPal. You can click on either one of those to make either a one-time or a monthly recurring donation. Every little bit helps. Everything is appreciated. I'm also going to leave links to the 3 live streams Steve Stockton and I do, which is Real Evil on DISAPPEARANCES channel, Fireside Chat on Missing Persons and Mysteries, and Campfire Tales on Missing Persons and Mysteries. And I'm sure most of you by now know what those are. And if you don't, go down and click on them. Click on them anyway. Like over there. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And I'll also leave a link for mine and Steve's podcast, which we haven't worked on in months because we've been so busy doing everything else. We're hoping to bring it back soon after we start and finish the Caleb Smith.
Please send them in. I love listening
podcast, which we're hoping to be starting within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Click on the links. Show us
she
some
tells
love.
them better than I do. Anyway.
If you're able to financially support the channel, I would appreciate if you do so. Be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. Can make you feel so good. Let your kindness show because it's beautiful. I promise. Have your best day. Have your best night. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, let me pop you. What'd I do? Hold on. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. They went right to the next video, which was weird. I've never had to do that before. Usually it just stops. There we go. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Yeah, there's that Brian Schaefer one's really important to me because I didn't know him personally, but I looked for him. It was an interesting situation. And they looked for him for months, actually. They would get groups together on the weekends and then also during the week and just scour the whole campus. It was crazy. Okay, next one's ready to go. So I hope everybody's having a good weekend. Folks just popping in. I'll start the next one here. I was going to ask. The one I'm getting ready to show next, I did play the first one a while back ago. It was on Shadow People, Part 1. And this one I got tonight is Shadow People 1.5. I can show the first one first for those who didn't get to see it, or you can go back into the catalog and check it out, which is not a bad idea. We really use those, people to start looking back at the older stuff, because I watch everybody's stuff and I go all the way back, especially new channels. I go back and look at all their stuff, watch how they grow, see how far back it goes. But yeah, and again, to the people coming and going or here, I know there's not a lot of conversation, and that's fine. I'm going to start the next one here in a couple minutes. I'm going to give it a couple minutes, and I'll start the next one. I just said that. Yeah, you can tell. Sometimes it's hard to do this by yourself, so I kind of end up repeating stuff, kind of draw blanks. So bear with me. But yeah, we'll get ready to start the next one here in a couple minutes. And until then, say hi, see what's up. Not much is going on here. I think we're due for another round of storms here in about another hour or two, it looks like. Man, like I said, nothing has been as crazy as the one 2 weeks ago. Man, I couldn't believe. But that was a big one. What amazed me was the wind. Now we live it's like where we live, it's like you slowly go up an incline. So when the wind came through, it did damage here, and there was a lot of stuff down. But when you go up where you can really tell you're going up a hill, when you cross the main drag, which is High Street, there's another neighborhood across the street. Man, there were trees down everywhere, and they were clocking winds almost at 70 miles an hour, which is amazing, especially when you're running through these houses. Now, I think the cemetery kind of blocks this because it's all mostly forest. There's a lot of trees in that cemetery, even some buckeye trees. Stormed here for about 15 minutes. You know what's weird, Chris, is we've heard the thunder. We had one good storm here about 2-3 hours ago, and that lightning, there was a crack of lightning. I mean, that baby cracked. It was close. I mean, you could feel it on your feet. You could feel the house shake, that everything flickered. I thought we were going to lose it. And then it's just been like late little showers. Sometimes I'll hear thunder in the distance, but now it seems to be going around us. But it looks like we got one coming in about an hour or two that might not. It may fizzle out before it gets here, though. But it's muggy as crap. All it did was make it worse here. It's really what it did. I was really hoping it'd help, but I went out there when it was raining during that storm. It was really warm rain, very warm rain. So you guys will probably get some more too. In fact, I should go look. I started to, and I did. Always like to look. I guess I'm the weather guy too for some people, which is fine because I like talking about weather. I kind of wanted to be a weatherman, but I had enough problems in school. Yeah, we got one that's coming. It's getting pretty big. You guys look pretty clear right now, Chris. Looks pretty tame there. I'm looking at the radar. Always go to the radar. My radar's good radar, so. Now you're getting some storms, aren't you? Just you got storms going around you right now. Oh, they're all fizzling out over. Yeah, they fizzled out as they passed you. We're getting ready to get slammed here. It says about 1:15. So we'll see. Some of these storms that are coming through up here have been pretty wicked. We've been lucky this time. This one coming now looks like it may have some serious wind. But like I said, it's so muggy. It's so dang muggy. But let me prop up this next one. And we'll get it going. Stop, Gemma. Don't talk. Okay, hold on. I'll make sure. Get this from the beginning. Like I said, this one's 4 years old. It's the Shadow People. We watched part one a while back ago. Supposed to rain Sunday, and then about 4 days next. And then the next 4 weeks. I guess we're supposed to get a lot of rain all next week, and it's supposed to stay just like it is now, hot and muggy and crappy. until I think they said it might start coming down next weekend. We'll see. But yeah, it looks like we're going to get a lot of rain for a while, off and on. Where it's the way that jet stream shifted. Let me get her plugged in here. But sometimes it's a lot of the weather's been going south of us, though. And what big weather is, the big storms most of the time have literally split. And you guys will get some of it, and then and above us gets it along the lake. Make sure that's shared. Yep, there we go. Go hide myself in my corner here, and then I'll make her bigger. There we go. Dun dun. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and start this. If there's any sound problems, let me know, and if I can fix them, I will. This one sounded like it had pretty good recording.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade.
We're glad to be back,
Today,
Gemma.
we are going to be once again speaking about and discussing shadow people. My last video was called the Shadow People
That's what I
Part
see
1, the
mostly
basics,
hanging on
and
top
the
of
reason
people.
that I
I
called
really
it
don't
that
see sometimes.
was
Very
because
rarely
obviously I'm planning on doing a
I
series.
see attached to people.
This video I'm naming 1.5 only because I wasn't planning on putting it out yet this week, and I have this really, what I think is a really amazing, pretty good script going about shadow people that I wanted to make a part 2, kind of like how I talked about how they're jinns and genies, and there are just so many other things they can be, and getting more into the demon element. However, it wasn't done, and in the interest of having content this week, I decided to throw you guys a 1.5 to kind of put together part 1 and part 2 and let you know what we're going to be doing going forward. I didn't think you guys were going to mind that I did that, because I know you're very interested on the subject. And like I said, I planned on having part 2 done already today, but I didn't. And I didn't want to not put out content. I want to give you guys at least something. I love putting out 2 videos a week. As I told you, if you were there yesterday for Fireside Chat, and if you weren't, now you know, my new upload schedule is most likely going to be Tuesdays and Fridays instead of my usual Mondays and Thursdays, because of my situation has shifted a little bit, and that's just going to be easier for me. Either way, I'll try my very best to upload 2 videos per week, as I've always done.
We're done one, but
so I mentioned in the live stream,
she's got an interview tomorrow too, folks.
Don't make it to the live stream, and that's okay.
She'll let you know it's
what I had to do was go out and get an entire new email. I deleted thousands upon thousands of emails.
She'll give you all the information
in the GemmaJadeYT email account, and it still says over quota. I paid for more storage. It still says over quota. It will not allow me to receive emails. So I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I had to go, and it's really annoying for me too, and causes me some issues. But if you could please send any and all further correspondence through email to GemmaJadeParanormal at
still to this day,
gmail.com,
you're
and I
better
will put that again at the end of the video and also in the description box.
She's been checking it.
Please continue to reach out to me. Don't get discouraged because you tried to send and it said over quota. Unfortunately, if you don't pay for a premier account, which is usually for businesses, Google does not give you the option to speak to a human being in any capacity or for any reason. And therefore, I had no idea what I should do about this over quota message. So with all that being said, let's jump right in to Shadow People Part 1.5. So in my last video, I kind of just ran through some basic information about shadow people. I went a little in depth, but because of how slow going the research is, because there's so much BS and nonsense to go through before finally even scratching the surface of something that I think just might be true and that I want to explore more, I kind of just gave you like, okay, here's the basics, and we're going to move forward from there. So while I hope to give you at least a little bit more of a glimpse into this terrifying phenomenon in this video, this will actually be a series, as I've said, so it's all ongoing. Most of my paranormal research actually is ongoing.
I'm going to stay in the chat.
The reason for that is because every time I think I've seen, read, or even heard it all, I come across something else that completely catches me off guard because it's completely new to me, and therefore I have to go through all of my previous research on top of what I'm already looking into to try to find some answers, or at least something to report back to you guys that's at least a little bit credible. I always tell you all that I hope that even if you don't believe in what I'm saying, even though I can't technically back anything up with facts or documented sources like I can in the true crime community, I hope that what I'm saying to you at least feels credible. If I can accomplish credibility with and in my research, then at the end of the day, I'll be content with that, even if I don't end up converting skeptics to believers or finding any real answers to something that has stymied everyone else and terrified anyone else who has come across it, whatever it is, whatever the thing may be that I'm researching that at that particular time. I've been fascinated with shadow beings or shadow people for as long as I can remember. I've been the victim of sleep paralysis pretty much my entire life, and also have had encountered not only shadow people and extraterrestrials, but also all sorts of paranormal and or alien phenomenon when I was very
This is the
little
video that
during
really
the
got us talking.
convulsions I would go into, because all the time I would randomly get the super high, like 104.2 fevers that would come literally out of nowhere, right from a regular temperature in a matter of a few seconds. Like that would literally happen a lot. I even encountered the angelic voice of my not yet born oldest child during one of these episodes, only obviously I had no clue that's who it was until my oldest child said his first words like 19 years ago. Okay, so with all that being said, now we're going to jump in. While most people who have had encounters with the shadow people have done so during what we now have started to call sleep paralysis episodes, there are just a small number of reported encounters or attacks and or from these beings. They are annoyingly blurry and shockingly fast, and therefore one of the most frustrating paranormal entities I've ever had the extreme displeasure of encountering, because I can never really get a good look at them and try to understand what it is that I'm seeing when I see them in my peripheral vision as I'm going about my day. I've seen shadow people, and I know I'm not alone here, in broad daylight as well as in the dark in the
Now
middle
she
of the
used
night.
to post
I've encountered them both just seeming to
videos
stand
in
and stare
her
at me,
in these
knowing I was
videos.
looking
I'm
right
trying
at
to
it,
get her
but
that.
not
She
seeming
knows
to
how
care
to
in the
do it. She's
least.
got to remember how
I've
to
been
do it.
literally attacked by them dozens upon dozens of
I have
times
to
throughout my life,
marks to
as
do
I
it.
said during the sleep paralysis
Still do
episodes I
these
always
things.
have. These specific entities seem to really get around, and that's the thing though.
And like to
The
attach
term
themselves
shadow
to people
person is
too.
basically just lumping together
It's a
all
creepy
entities
picture.
which are pitch black and seemingly made of nothing, seemingly
I'm
made
gonna
of
see
shadow, I
that
guess. But that's
backdrop for
so
this.
wrong. I
I
look
did
at
the first
shadow
one.
people specifically of the humanoid, human shaped, black and dark entities which haunt my sleep at night and my daily boring life as well, whether or not they actually do anything as separate entities. It's annoying too, because there are so many different subheadings for shadow people. Some people even group those dark black masses and blobs in with shadow people. And I don't understand how you can put a blob type entity in with another entity that literally has the word person in it. Even though we know shadow people aren't people, they are humanoid. And black masses and blobs, unless they make a human form, are not just humanoid, right? I'm not even sure that those dark black masses or black blob type creatures are even connected to the shadow person phenomenon. I am looking into that and hopefully can come up with some kind of reasonable answer for you guys in an upcoming shadow person video. Shadow people seem to be able to show themselves anywhere and everywhere, any time of the day or night, too. They seem to have no limit as far as when they can appear and even when they disappear.
I've
How
seen
they
them in the
disappear.
daytime plenty
One
of
of the most
times.
common shadow entities that I've not only myself seen, but that I've seen reported over and over again are the ones that are kind of more benign. So I guess we would call them benign shadow beings. They basically have a human shape or outline, depending again on a number of different factors. Some seem to have mass, and some seem to be made of a little more than smoke. These so called benign ones still make me nervous despite their subheading there. There doesn't seem to be anything really benign about any encounter with a terrifying, dark, and sinister entity, right? I mean, they are called benign shadow people in a lot of the research that I've done, and I don't understand that because they're absolutely terrifying to encounter, whether they're attacking you or just lurking, you know? I talked a little bit about the benign ones in the first video, how we'll kind of see them in our peripheral vision, our periffs, while going about our daily lives. These ones to me are the ones that are so easily dismissed as a trick of the light or us being able to convince ourselves that we're tired and are just thinking we're seeing something. Every once in a while, though, they're known to pace back and forth in front of your bed in the middle of the night. They don't usually stop either once you've woken up and seen them there. It's just like they're so content on this pacing and so focused on it for whatever the reason is. It's not like they're pacing like anxious for you to wake up, because once you wake up, they don't go anywhere. They don't even look up most of the time, right? Now, I know that we don't really know much as factual with any kind of shadow being, but this one in particular, when it comes to this specific type, what do we really know? I haven't come across any accounts of them speaking at all. They have no eyes, or at least no eyes that we can really see, but you can still tell somehow, you can still intuit that they're looking right at you when they are. As far as being able to intuit and kind of psychically tell that they're looking at you, I guess the average person may not be able to do that. You have to be in touch with some part of your psychic self that a lot of people just aren't. I mean, a lot of regular people aren't. A lot of people here in this community are. So a lot of us can tell, like, yeah, they're looking at us, and we can even tell kind of their energy, their intent. They don't have an aura. I know that much.
No, they
Everything's
don't.
just abyss, inky, dark black, blacker than the blackest color of black you've ever seen in your
I've seen
whole
black
life.
ones,
The
smoky
pacing these
ones,
entities do makes
misty
me think
ones.
so
Those are
much of
different.
like those movies, like
I've
any
seen
movie
ones that
where somebody is waiting in the
do
emergency
weird
room or the
things
waiting
around
room of a
people,
hospital while someone else is undergoing surgery
talking
or
in
something,
people's ears.
and you see like the father or one of the parents or loved ones just pacing back and forth, looking at the ground, pacing back and forth, and then they
Seen those
eventually
too.
look up when the doctor comes, like make good eye contact. Like that's what I can think of in my head. Like that's how they pace. It's exactly the same thing. This worried, kind of anxious, like, you know, oh my gosh, is my loved one going to make it type pacing, only it's a shadow being. Who knows what its thoughts are? Who knows if they're even aware of us? They seem so intent on pacing back and forth, looking down and wringing their hands like some kind of nervous loved one whose family member was just in some kind of horrible accident. I mean, are they waiting for someone or something else to come and join them? Something we can see or can't see? Are they even aware that we're there? I mean, otherwise, what are they doing if
Oh,
they're
they're
not
very
directly
aware
there
of
for
us.
us, right?
So at least most
In
of them
one
are, at least
theory,
the
and I'll
ones I
definitely
see.
get to those at some point,
Just
it's
sometimes
thought
they don't
that
know
the
we
shadow
see
people in general are just people who come from the future, time travelers, and this is just how they appear to us if we happen to catch a glimpse of them. This makes no sense at all to me, but I've seen this theory reported over and over and over again, that
them. Yeah.
people think that the reason that shadow people come back looking as these black kind of outlines when traveling here from the future is so that if they run into, you know, the future self doesn't run into the now self. There's this whole big rabbit hole of a theory on that, but it doesn't make enough sense to me for me to present it to
It's a
you.
weird
As
one.
always, I encourage you to do your own research and come to your own conclusions.
Always
So
do
I'll
your
ask
own
again,
research
is
for me
this
on it.
thing just simply as unaware of me as I wish that it would remain to me? I mean, I don't want to be aware of it. I don't want to know it's there. I don't want it to be there. Not really that I want to be ignorant of it if it is. I don't want it to
You
be
want
there.
to be its
So
buddy?
is it just ignorant of me? Does it just not know that we're in the room? Is it doing something else?
Then
It makes me
sometimes you're better
so
off.
uncomfortable too, because not many entities are known to be able to be seen both day and night in the house. I always think back to part one of this series on shadow people and the jinn, and then to the Christopher case, which I also covered and rebooted. If you guys didn't check that out, please go and do so, because after doing all of this research into all these different parts of these shadow people, learning about them and just digging super duper deep and going down all these rabbit holes, I always thought shadow people killed Christopher Case. I always thought a witch did, in fact, send shadow people to kill Christopher Case. That's just my opinion. And I presented that opinion in the video that I did. But it never occurred to me that there was actually a specific type. And I believe that that type is the jinn, because the jinn are one of maybe like 2 or 3 different like smaller groups, smaller subheadings of shadow people who are actually able to attack, hurt, and or kill humans.
Yes, they can do
And that's a
physical harm
fact.
if they want.
They've done it. Again, if you haven't seen the Christopher Case video, go check it out. You'll see plainly
Yes, please go
that
back and
even
look
if you don't
at
think
the
it was shadow
dialogue
people or
on it.
jinn, explain to me what happened there, please.
A lot of good
So
stuff.
while I know, at least to me, all shadow people that I've encountered and even that I've read about seem to have a really negative nature. However, I believe that there are different levels of how evil they are. For instance, the benign ones I was just talking about, yes, they let out an evil energy or a sinister energy, but I'm not afraid that really that they're going to hurt me, right? They don't make me go into that absolute terror and panic as what I believe are the jinn ones that attack me during my sleep paralysis episodes. So I think that there's one level or another of how bad, sinister, and evil these things are, depending on how they act in our presence. You know, when you just feel the air change or the energy and vibration shift all around you to something much lower, much more negative, and that kind of, like I said, that intuitive knowing that something evil is there in that space with you. They lurk in corners, doorways, at the foots of beds. I'm not saying that shadow beings are energy themselves, because I believe they are conscious and aware and therefore can be classified as entities and beings, right? Again, I'm not quite sure what the intent of these specific entities are, but I have a sneaking suspicion that whatever their purpose is, it is not good for us, not good for humans. I've also found recently, and many of you have commented that this is true, sent me emails talking about how this is true, and I've learned it for myself firsthand about a year and a half ago, is that when confronted with one of these shadow people, whether it be attacking me during a sleep paralysis episode or just standing lurking in my corner, again, for me, reciting the Lord prayer helps. And a lot of people, I have at least 100 people who agreed with me and told me that this also worked for them. Now, I know you're going to say, well, when you're in sleep paralysis, it's paralysis. You can't talk. Yes, but reciting it in my head and trying to get the words out actively, I've gotten bits and pieces of it out. They do always disperse. They always disappear without a trace by the time I'm done reciting the prayer. If you've had that experience as well with reciting the
This
Lord's
is true in
Prayer,
most
please
cases.
let me know in the comments below. If you've tried to do it and it didn't work, let me know. But I'd have a little bit of a hard time believing you, so I'd want to hear your story. I am a Christian, but I don't push that. I'm not just trying to advocate for you all to have some prayer in your life. I mean, I think everyone should have more prayer in their life, but again, that's my opinion. When I'm talking about reciting the Lord's Prayer, whether in your head or vocally during a shadow person encounter, any kind of encounter, okay?
You have to have faith.
It works. It makes them go away. So why is this? The entity is usually made powerless and releases either its literal or psychic grip on us. So that's all I'm saying. Just try it. So another type of shadow entity that I've been seeing reports of more and more lately, like the numbers of sightings have absolutely just skyrocketed in the past 2 to 3 months from when I did part one to researching part two in this past month, in the month of May.
And it's still growing.
I can't believe how many more reports are coming in about the shadow people who have eyes. The glowing eyes, not just like, you know, their eyes there. Somehow they have glowing eyes, and there's a new color of glowing eye aside from
when I saw didn't have eyes,
almost always red, on rare occasions yellow, and now there is the less common green. They're bright and glowing colors, which make it all so much more scary. Remember too, a lot of my theory that these entities are energy vampires stems from my own personal knowledge that feeling fear does in fact almost completely drain a person's energy. How much more terrifying is the shadow entity lurking in your corner or in your closet or pacing the foot of your bed than when they have glowing colored eyes? And this is why I wanted to present to you this shorter 1.5 video. I am still working on all of my research, as I said, but this is one of the main things I'm trying to break down. These shadow entities that have these glowing eyes. It can take all of the energy we have, even rendering us immobile sometimes, right? Feeling that overwhelming and just insane sense of fear and terror can even make us so that we're unable to move. It can cause us to cry and then feed the being even more, because that's a whole other negative or at least sad emotion it can feed off.
But it has worked in those situations.
These shadow people with the glowing eyes are the ones who seem to invoke the most fear and or terror in us, aside, of course, from the ones who are ripping our throats and kneeling on top of us during sleep paralysis. I think this is simply because there is almost no denying what it is we're seeing. We can convince ourselves of almost anything in the middle of the night when we've just woken up from sleep and don't have all of our wits about us, right? I know I can anyway. So while I convince myself perhaps that the lurking shadow figure standing in front of my closet is in fact my husband's long black leather coat, say, or one of my many long black gothic dresses or gowns, How do I possibly do that in these cases? My gowns and his jackets don't have eyes, especially not glowing ones. In fact, nothing in either one of our wardrobes does. And that's just one example. Like, I can convince myself at night that a hat on the coat rack is just a hat on the coat rack until it has eyes, and I realize it's actually the hat man, the hat shadow being, who is coming in the next video, by the way. That is terrifying because he's been being seen more and more often as well. Back to the glowing eyes. So I really and honestly truly feel that the only reason for it showing its glowing eyes like that to us is to strike more fear in us, and therefore more quickly and efficiently drain our energy, while also being able to drain a mixture of different emotions that fear will invoke in us, such as, like I said, crying out of sheer terror, just all these different emotions that come with fear. So it's like they're having a feast. They're not just getting fear, they're getting pain, they're getting whatever comes with it when we cry like that cry, that terror cry. I hope I'm getting what I'm trying to say out the right way. You guys know sometimes I have issues with that, but I can only go by my own experience with these entities. And I know with the glowing eyes specifically, they don't seem to blink or close at any time until the whole thing just completely disappears altogether. In fact, with this one too, it seems I can never look away or blink my eyes and then open them again to see if it is just a figment of my overactive or tired, sleepy imagination. Once I lock eyes with this bad boy, I'm there until it decides it's done and seemingly blinks right out of existence from my room just as fast as it most likely covers all the bases. Definite energy vampires here. Right. For what purpose and from where do they come and why? No clue. It's a matter again of what you personally believe and or what you've personally experienced. I always say our personal experience is what is going to shape our personal beliefs. It's my belief that shadow beings have all different types of explanations, and I'm going to go through all of the theories in future videos. There's probably going to take like 2 or 3 videos to actually do that because that's how many types of theories and explanations there are. But some are time travelers, interdimensional beings or interdimensional travelers, demons, ghosts or spirits of loved ones past, ghosts or spirits just haunting the space you're in when you see them. The explanations go on, and some even come from the scientific community. I've also heard of many people having had experiences with a dark mass or blob, which seems to have some kind of weight to it. And sometimes it travels down walls, trickling like smoke in the air. Sometimes it rises out from the ground. But unlike shadow beings, this thing never actually takes any specific shape or form like that of a banana hat or something that is able to have eyes on it. Could this just be the same shadow entities we've come to know, only for whatever reason they are either choosing or unable to take their desired form? So are these blob and smoke-looking black entities unable to take form for whatever? In the scientific community, they allege to have a very reasonable and rational explanation for the shadow person phenomenon. And again, expect a more in-depth dealing with what science has to say in a future video. This was kind of a tidbit to let you know I'm on the track of part 2. I know you guys have been waiting for it. And plus, I needed to put something out. So I hope you guys enjoy this at least. It definitely is a teaser. I'll give you that much. But, you know, I know you guys are going to love it. Now, while admittedly, I just started looking into what the scientific community has to say about shadow people encounters, it's weird because so far I've come to find that the official psychological name for a shadow person encounter is sleep paralysis. And to me, that's not really an explanation. Calling one thing by the name of how it terrorizes you just doesn't make much sense to me. Do we interchange the words heart attack and clogged arteries? No, because one is the cause of the other.
I've heard of people saying like, stuff like that.
Clogged arteries is what causes you, could cause you to have a heart attack.
Who said he used to have one
shadow people are what cause like paralysis, or does sleep paralysis cause shadow people? One begets the other in some way, even if it's a never-ending and vicious cycle or circle.
And then it would move again,
this makes no sense to me. I am going to continue digging. I found a little bit deeper of an explanation into what the scientific community has to say, but I'm saving it for another one of these videos in this series. I'm not sure, again, and as usual, that I'm accurately explaining what I'm trying to say here. I feel very strongly deep within me within my
Like
psychic
paper
sense
cutout. Ooh,
that
that's
sleep paralysis, whether caused by shadow people or not, is what makes them so emboldened to actually approach so close and terrorize us the way that they do while we're in one of these episodes. Any other time, there's no physical interaction. And normally, once they get what they came for, they either vanish into thin air, through a wall, or walk off. Not with sleep paralysis, though. With this, they are so bold. They will come right up to you, right in your face, and even physically assault you.
yes.
Is it just their good luck to have found you this way? Are they the cause of the reason that you are this way in this kind of sleep paralysis mode, I guess? Or are they working in tandem with something else, whether known or unknown, to know exactly when we are in this most vulnerable of states?
Oh
and
yeah, I
to
remember
attack
that
with any
episode.
good
Now,
opportunist
so now
would. I've been so
Amy
busy with
Allen
the
didn't
book and
stick in my
everything and
head
losing
until
my
after
sitter that it was
Dead
either
Files,
put
and I
out
was like,
this
oh, I
and
remember.
the other video that I'm filming today
Sorry, folks.
on the fly, or release nothing at all. So please don't be disappointed and know 100% that this is by no means the end of my research into the shadow people, but still only the beginning, which is why I'm putting 1.5. Thanks for all of your constant support, patience, and understanding while I work on
Yeah, if
everything
I
I need to
find
get
two, I'll
done to
play
keep
it
this
next
channel
week
going,
too with
to get my book done, and to just get myself set up for my future, to get myself a little free time too. My future is right here in the true crime and paranormal community with you guys, and I'm never going to stop searching for answers on anything that I come across. I've also been having some pretty unique dreams lately. I've been having much stronger visions and audio coming in from spirit. And when I'm ready, I'll speak on the extraterrestrial stuff, which I never uttered a word about until recently. And I'm still not quite there yet where I'm ready, but I promise, almost. Am I just becoming more open and my already pretty strong psychic sense is just opening more, or am I becoming a target? I have no idea, and I guess we'll find out.
You really never
Guys,
know
that's all I
until
have
you
for you
reach
today.
the end.
Please give this video a big
And make
thumbs
sure,
up if you
folks,
enjoyed coming and
on
hanging
this
out with
video,
me
you
and
hit
hearing
the
just a
thumbs up.
little bit
Go back
more
and hit the
about
thumbs up on
shadow
this
people,
one.
my
It's
shadow
in the
person
catalog.
teaser
Let
here
me
as
put
we
this
move
one
into
down.
part 2 of my shadow person.
1 second. There we go. 1 second. Let me make me small. We gotta get rid of her. Well, I don't want to get rid of her. But there we go. Still going. Aha. There we go. There we go. She was going to talk about older stuff that doesn't go down anymore. I've been seeing something peeking over the bed mattress, and I've looked thinking it's one of the two dogs, but no, the cat's on the bed. And well, yeah, have you seen some of those videos? This is one video. This guy is laying in bed, and all you see is the top of a head. And he freaks out, and he immediately rolls over and lifts up the covers, and there's something laying there looking at him, and it cuts, and they're kind of like, this could be fake. But man, he sounded scared as crap. He probably left. I'm out. Yeah, I can see that. Have you talked to anybody that's seen the stick figures? These actually look like the stick man you draw. I've got a friend that says he sees them every so often up by where he lives up in Pennsylvania. He lives up in northern Pennsylvania and up by the lake, I think, somewhere up there. I've never been to his place, but I talked to him on the phone. We checking on each other every couple months. And he's telling me he's been seeing them for years now. He says they look like stick figures. Somebody drew a stick figure and he's seen them. His neighbor sees them too, and they don't know where they're coming from. Him and his neighbor, I guess, went out looking for him one night after they saw one together. And I'm like, how come you're not telling people about this? Because what do you think? We're not. We're already kooky as it is. We don't need to be any kookier. People already think we're whack jobs now. So I haven't heard from him. I'm due to hear from him. I usually hear from, what's this, July? He'll either yell from me about end of August around my birthday. He might even actually come down this year. Up, down, he'll be coming down. Because I've seen that today a few times. I've seen hands too. Now I've seen one. Have you seen the one video? It's an older video. It's of a baby cam. I guess the parents sleep in the same room and the crib's up against the wall. And you see the hands come out from underneath the crib. It's creepy as crap. So when they're messing with my kid, nope, that ain't going to happen. there's a paranormal investigator I have over Cash. He was telling me about the stick people. Yeah, I heard about it when he brought it up about 2 years ago. And then I saw a video about it, and then I heard somebody else talk about it. It's not like a big topic. And when he first described them, I thought maybe he was talking like the Fresno walkers, where it's just you see legs, it's like a body. It's just like they're like white, and all they are legs and a top, and they don't have no hands. You can sometimes see faces on them. On some of the videos, it actually looks like there might be a face on them or an outline of a face, but they just walk. They kind of walk kind of funny. First time I've seen a video of them, I was like, this is fake. And then I kept watching it. Wait a minute, this is not fake. And then I started seeing the Indian totem poles with them. And it was like, oh, wow, this is something that's been seen for a long time. Saw something fly in front of your screen, in front of my screen, just now. I'll have to go back and look. I can't. It's possible. I had a fly in here earlier, unless you saw the fly. I'll have to go back and look. What is when did you mark it? When did you say so? 12/21. Which would have been, but I got to go up here and look now. I don't have a time yet, so, well, wait, actually I do. 123. So go back, check. 120. Got it. Thanks, Chris. I'll go back and look. Yeah, it must have happened fast because, remember when me and her and Gemma and Pixie were all together and that mass floated right in front of me? Never came back. And it wasn't Mom. I don't know what that was, but it didn't stick around. It gave me creepies all that night. It smelled like, first I thought, why would Mom be hiding in my closet? Because it kind of smelled like old perfume or something. And it was weird. It's at 2:36. I was just going by my counter. But yeah, 2:36. Thanks, Chris. And I'll see if it lines up with what I wrote down. What's it look like? I can't go back and look right now. Huh, interesting. I'll have to look. I wonder what it was. Could have been anything. We've had a lot of rain, so I gotta re-salt everything. I meant to last time and I didn't. Now I wish I had. But it would surprise me. I've seen a lot of weird stuff lately, Chris, following people. So it would not surprise me. Because last time, last week, I showed you guys Wednesday. I got tagged, and then it kind of scared me. This one kind of scared me because it happened so fast. I turned around and walked right into a wall. All this. Brown blur. Interesting. Okay. Sure wouldn't smoke? No, I didn't have a cigarette left or anything. I'll have to go back and look. I will go back and look, believe me. Because that's been twice now that's happened while I was streaming. Last one was black. Remember? I got to pull it up. Somebody wants to see it. So I'll have to go back and dig through the lives. I know which one it is. Mr. Hanky running, but it probably was. Oh, that's funny. Good one. Give you credit for that one. It might have been a moth. I caught a couple to put in the tank because the toads love them, and it's like a special treat. So I catch them. I go out there tonight just before stream. I went out and caught a couple. I might have gotten out of this. One may not have made it into when I dumped them into the tank. So it's highly possible. But I'll go back and look. I will go back and look. Now that you gave me time. Well, I had a time too. Usually your time should line up with mine. Well, yeah. It's starting to thunder here again. Hold on. Now I'm worried. Some of this storm coming in now looks like it might. Oh, excuse me. Might be a juicy one. Let me look real quick. Excuse me. I have been having a lot of talking problems and voice problems. So, dude, I'm going to have to say probably here on out, you'll probably have to bear with me because they're saying it may only get worse. So, okay. Yeah, it looks like a pretty juicy storm coming at us now. You guys down there are nice and free and clear. It's just a blob right now, but there's one running along 70 and then one just hanging out just north of the northeast 270 corridor up by Dublin, where Murfield's at. Looks like they're getting slammed. But it may not do anything. We might get something. Like I said, even though it's not all gloomy, I can definitely hear thunder. But yeah, I'll go back and look. Yeah, because I got to go back and look now. I was watching a streamer the other night on Twitch, and he had something definitely standing beside him. This is like the third time now I've watched this guy and seen stuff standing beside him. Well, this time I said something. The first time I said something, they made a joke out of it. The second time I said something, they didn't say anything. Nobody even picked on me about it. And then this time when I said something about it, they were like, yeah, he's been having issues. You actually see something? And I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah. He says, my closet door keeps opening up by itself. And it's latched. He even got up and showed everybody it latches. And he said his radio keeps coming on. He would leave and his stereo system. I guess he's got a big collection of records. So he's got the old stereo system that he still had probably when he was a kid. And like I used to have. Finally had to throw it away. But yeah, he said it would start playing. He said if he leaves a tape in there, it definitely will play the tape. He'll come back in there. He says he could hear it come on just before he gets to his door. It's like something waiting for him. But yeah, I'll have to check it out. Man, if that's twice now. You can see it's lightening up my window. I don't have the blinds drawn. Just watch behind me. You'll see the lightning. I just saw a flicker. That might have been else what you've been seeing too, Chris, is because the window's open. Cars drive by. I'll go back and look, though. The police lately they've been finding homeless people sleeping in the mausoleum and down by where they keep all the work trucks and stuff. So they've been kind of keeping a close eye. Yeah, it's definitely lightning. Ugh. Now I'll get zapped to the computer. That's wild. I didn't see that time. The other time it was real obvious. I actually watched it come down and cross in front of me. It's like, holy crap. Saw a nice trailer for the third season of Interview with the Vampire, season 3. Oh, I know she is so excited. Gemma loved that show. I'll have to tell her that there's a trailer out. Hey, could you get the link for it? Do they have you have the link for it? It's on YouTube, right? Because I'll send it to her. I lived in cemeteries when I was homeless. Did you? Yeah. Actually, you probably would have liked this cemetery. It's covered in trees. It's a forest because it literally leads you right into the Old Tangy River. But yeah, that cemeteries kind of have a history. It's pretty funny though. You'll have people that I've known from this neighborhood for years tell you, "Oh, I've never seen anything," but I'll have other neighbors tell me, "Yeah, I see crap all the time." They are on the season where the Queen of the Dam comes in. Oh wow, really? Cool. Oh, that will make her day. Yeah, if you got a link, if I'll have to look it up. Yes, it's from the Comic-Con earlier today. Okay, I'll go look for it. Yeah, I'll find it and send it to her. That shouldn't be hard to find. Yeah, because she got me hooked on it. I was okay with it at first, and then I was like, it's not bad. At least they're trying to stick to the story. I've encountered spirits there while I was staying there. I had the 3 cemeteries I went to and slept at. I just have the one right next to it. And then the other cemetery that's close is the old Worthington Church Cemetery. And it's got all its founders from Worthington. Was in Hawaii. Ooh. And Hawaii has a lot of history too. So I bet some of that was kind of creepy. I'll tell you what, you want to spend a night in the cemetery, go down to Georgia. There's some creepy ass, pardon my mouth, cemeteries down there. When I went down with the ex when we were married to see her uncle, we were driving around. I was scoping out the cemeteries because it got all that moss and Spanish moss hanging off the trees, and it just makes it look even creepier. Savannah. It's supposed to be more accurate than the movies. Oh yeah, definitely. I noticed that within the first season, especially toward the end. It was like they did a really good job sticking to the book. So let's see how they do with this season. Now, see, that was the season I kept on because she watches it. Oh, heck yes. Wait, everyone go check it out. Hold on. Oh man, I'm going to send her this. It'll probably be on YouTube by the morning. Oh, there's a bunch of good ones. Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. Have you watched that, Chris? Is that any good? I'm looking at all the other trailers they have on here. The Long Walk, Strangers. Man, they're going to run with those too. I knew they were making a Night at Freddy's too. The first one wasn't bad. Oh, that's the thing. Oh, they're making a bunch. This is, man, they just showed everything, didn't they? These are all the new series, right? Yep. I used to work at a cemetery in a mortuary in MD Cedar Hill. I have been around the dead. Oh, honey, buddy, that was called Jed. Buddy, I played in that cemetery. My best friend, all through high school, we were friends for 36 years before we had to walk away from each other. But his family owned a funeral home. They asked me to work for them, but I just didn't have the money for schooling. But I'd still hung around that funeral home. Dan was there a lot, so it was like, in fact, they dared me one night to sleep in the coffin. I did. I freaked his mom out because I rock in my sleep. And she come in, I guess I was rocking, and the coffin was shaking. She was all freaked out. I felt bad because I probably could have given her a heart attack. Last Star Trek I watched was 9. Oh, Deep Star, or whatever it is, Deep Space Nine, or whatever it is, the Next Generation. Now, I didn't mind Next Gen. But yeah, I was never really a Star Trek fan. I liked some of the episodes. And some of the movies, Wrath of Khan, the movie Wrath of Khan was really good and did a really good job of kind of piecing that back to the original. And Picard. Picard was the last one. And now, see, I didn't watch Picard. But I did watch Next Gen. I watched a little bit of Deep Space. But yeah, it was just, I was more of a Battlestar Galactica kind of guy. And Dad worked for Hostess. So they did a lot of promos for Battlestar Galactica. I wish Mom would have kept my box that I found that a lot of my collectibles in the attic upstairs, my G.I. Joes and stuff, she'd given to her church about 3 months before she passed. So that is going pretty good at that. I'm trying to keep the eye in my corner here. You can see the lightning flash. Yeah, because that window faces west. So it's coming straight from the west. But yeah, but then I got hooked on Aliens and Predator. I'm really hoping the Predator Badlands is good. And I'm really hoping the series is good. The cartoon, I love the cartoon. The Alien series is the one I'm really kind of concerned about. Now, I loved Romulus. I liked that movie. It was a good movie. I watched it twice to form a really good opinion. And I liked it. It was a nice, good fit in between the two movies. The first one and the second one. Or after the second one. The first one and the second one, yeah. If I remember right? Yeah. I'll have to go back. I think it takes place between the first movie and the second. Or the second and the third movie, where that. I'll have to go back and watch it again. But I liked it. I thought it was really good. But it's basically another rinse and repeat. But it still was good. Now, I love the animated Predators. Those 3 stories were just awesome. Just like you would see in comic book form. Somebody's telling me, Chris, that they're going to make a cartoon. That Toho is going to start going international. We're probably going to get a Shin Godzilla 2. I like the first one. It's raining now, man. It sounds like it's raining pretty good. I like the first one, but it's a political movie. Japanese political movie. But it's still good. But I don't think people realize how good it really is. But the second one is supposed to be even better. So let's hope we get that second one. I just got my G.I. Joe Cobra Claw. Cost me $65. Wow. That sounds about right, actually. My grandmother threw away a box of vintage Playboy magazines in damn good condition. I had the first up to 49 edition. I was offered it. Hey, man, those things, for the first containing Marilyn Monroe, yeah, those books are actually worth tons of money. I went to an auction. I used to go to auctions for people right after I got divorced. And I was kind of not knowing what to do with my time because I worked for a little bit, then they made me quit work because of the Tourette's. I was having a hard time staying put. And I used to go to like auctions and home sales where you go in and tag sales and stuff. And for people, they would tell me what they're looking for, and I'd go look for it. Now, I'm telling you, I saw a whole box. They were all vintage Playboys, and it went for like almost $9,000. I don't think there was any really major one like a Marilyn Monroe, because that Marilyn Monroe is probably why it was worth so much. But the guy got a serious bundle. Okay, I think it went for $9,000. Now $80,000 is probably the reason why Marilyn Monroe. And if they're in that good shape, if they were in that good shape, oh yeah, I could easily see that, especially now. So I took to get the money, and she never threw shit away after that because she saw the stack of cash. She was mad at herself. Oh yeah. What's this, Chris? What's this one? Oh, the Hasbro. Let me check it out. Okay. No. Oops, we're sorry. The page that you were looking for could not be found. Oh, it wouldn't let me go to the page, Chris. Yeah, it wouldn't let me go to the page. Nope. I'll go look for it though. Yeah, I could probably find it. It says return to home page. It's on pause. I got it marked. I'll go look through it. I'll find it. China's. Oh yeah, keep that one. I have a Bigfoot short in if you want to laugh. You have a Bigfoot short. Laugh on. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, the ones from the AI ones, those are hilarious. I got to watch what I play on here because we can't get copyrighted. It's happened before, even after I had permission from the guy. He even went to YouTube and told me I had permission, and they still wouldn't take the yellow away. Oh, you got another one here, Chris? Oh, okay. There you go. I see it now. There you go. Thank you. Well, that's a nice one. They want $15 there. Is that a pre-order deposit only? Oh, okay. Did you pay 65 and then turn around and found it for 15? That would suck. That would suck a lot. That's all right, Chris. Sometimes I have links to that too. The Bigfoot ones on TikTok and showing up here on YouTube now. They're hilarious. Some of them they're getting a little carried away with, but they'll run them into the ground. That's the only thing that'll bum me out is they'll run them into the ground. Because now you got people copying them too that are not as good. No, it's 15 to. Oh, it's only 15 to pre-order. I didn't read it. I just looked. I just saw $15. Hold on. Oh, it's 15. Okay. You sure? Do they have new figures out? Is that what they did? Because I saw somebody had two. It looked like brand new figures. I do like that though. It is pretty cool. Wish my G.I. Joe had stuff like that. Yeah, they are hilarious. Those Bigfoot ones are hilarious. Oh, yeah, they are. But there are now a bunch of copycats. And some of them are pretty funny, but they're not as good as the original batch. I get a kick out of them now. I've been showing them Daddy Laughs his ass. Yeah, you know, and my big G.I. Joes, man, I kept them in good shape. I kept all my toys in good shape. That's what bummed me out because I had the tower. And then I don't know if you guys ever remember Big Jim. It was a toy that came out. He had a big red backpack and he pulled the string and he would talk. I had one of those and a camper. And then I had all my G.I. Joe. I had that big old G.I. Joe tower and Jeeps. A lot of that I bought myself. Some of it I got for Christmas. Some of I worked for it. The new figures are 6 inches. The claw is huge. That's why it's 65. Oh, I can imagine. They're 6 inches. That's pretty good size, yeah. Not like the 12, but I like the dude that went on a Moogle as Pennywise. He sounded good and make. I've seen a couple of those videos. There's a guy. It might be the same guy I think you're talking about. He does a bunch of that stuff. There's a couple of these guys that do that. They're fun to watch because people freak out, but you can see him flip through the ones that are not so favorable. I haven't seen those for a while. I wonder. why they haven't been. I'm surprised they don't show those as shorts. Somebody hasn't broken them down into shorts yet. Whoa, that's a big light. I'm going to hear that. You guys saw that, right? There's a lot of energy, so it's highly possible someone could have passed in front of me because after that first storm we got, you could feel the static in the air. You knew we weren't done yet. You hear that, right? Can you guys hear that? That shook the house. Vlad is a gamer girl, big Russian man. So the reflection, man, you should have felt it. I'm surprised you guys did not hear that. That's why I have a good mic on this side, but I'm surprised you guys did. Yeah, I figured you did. The window is right there. But it literally shook the house. We've had some close calls today. I just don't want the power going out again. I mean, that could be the least of my worries. I was really surprised the one crack earlier a couple hours ago that we got. Man, that thing. I mean, when it cracked. I mean, you could feel it in your ears and your bones. I mean, it was like that sucker was close. And I kept waiting for sirens to go off or something, but nope. But I bet I find a tree down that cemetery around that creek that's been split in two. Yeah, when I know storms are coming, I leave that window open because my bed's over here now, and I'll lay and look out the window because I can't sleep, especially if the storms come in and watch. I have two. But once in the garage. Yeah, that was a real interesting situation. I had fried everything. My hair was all singed. My eyebrows were gone. My brother joked about, well, at least you don't have to worry about the white hair now. It's like, and I was only 13. And still a lot of my hair was white from the incident. I never hit twice. If you've been hit twice and still standing, my man, you're here for a reason. That's for sure. But then again, I keep getting sent back too. So I don't know why, but I do. Guess there is something I'm supposed to do here somehow, some way, somehow. Repeat myself twice. But yeah, Chris, it's just like when I sold all my collection of all the stuff I had. I mean, I sold a lot of stuff to pay for chemo. I couldn't believe some of the money I got out of some of the stuff I got, especially a lot of my Godzilla stuff. I hated selling my Godzilla stuff. But some of that and some of my DC stuff and some of my comic book stuff just was big money, and I had to have it. Saw a funny trailer for Wednesday season 2. Really waiting on that. Yeah, I haven't watched any of it, but people are telling me you'd get it. I'd probably enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know if Gemma watches it. I'm going to ask Gemma. There was another one. I'm going to have to ask Gemma if she's watching Wednesday. It wouldn't surprise me if she is. And she watches so much, and she does a pretty good job keeping up. But wait till I'm going to send her that trailer for the vampire. She'll be happy. She'll be dancing. Her and her vampires. Yeah, everybody says Wednesday is pretty good. It's got some good chuckles and stuff in it, so I may have to check it out. Yeah, there looked like some pretty good trailers they had dumped on there for some of the series coming up, so I'll have to check those out. I've died twice, and there are times I have been good. I have a hard time. I hadn't had time. I can't explain that. I avoided things. Something Sometimes was told it felt before. Another time I should have been hit by a car. Dude, I died 5 times. Been back 5 times. 5 times. 3 on the table, on an operating table. Once in a car accident. That was the first time. Then 3 on the table. One was because I was really sick. And then the 5th time right here in this chair when I was facing the other way. Took an experimental medication for the Tourette's. You know, I like Peacemaker. Sometimes it's a little much for me, but I do enjoy it. It's hilarious. He takes that and runs with it, man. It's just a shame it's not really the Peacemaker in the comic book. It is to a small degree. But I didn't, and I can't explain how, because I had no way I could hear, and I have not been hit. That stuff happens so fast, dude. Yeah, I heard about Twisted Metal. Now, he liked that. It was okay. I did watch the first 3 episodes. If you don't hang me in about the first 3 episodes, then I just wait. I just back away and then wait till somebody says, oh, it gets better. So probably what I'll do. I love the game, though. We still have copies of the game. So I still have my PlayStation 1, my PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, the 4, and the 5. I had 2 4s, but I sent one to Gemma before he got his PlayStation 5 so he'd have something to play on, so he could play Fortnite with me. I need to send her I need to get her the new Mortal Kombat so we can fight and she can have fun with it. Man, she's getting off on a lot of games. It's nice to see her gaming. She's good. She kicks butt in Mortal Kombat. I want to see Lanterns. Yeah, I do too. I want to see how they pull it off and how good they do. I gotta admit, I liked his interpretation of Guy Gardner. I would have still preferred Redhead, but he was just perfect for it, which made it nice. At least he got to play a Green Lantern. Fallon's been wanting to play a Lantern for a long time. He actually wanted to be Hal Jordan. It's cool. I like Twisted Metal game too. I blew up a TV when yeah, it does that. Got mad at the energy, blew up the TV. One time you're in here and Gemma's on, ask her about how she blew up a microwave. She wasn't a happy camper, and the microwave blew up. So that's possible. And imagine the energy coming off her when that happened. Wow. But yeah, I want to see Atlanta. There's a couple ones coming out I'm really excited about seeing. Now, everybody's still giving Superman a hard time, trying to make it out as a political thing. Man, I don't care if it was. I enjoyed it. Pop enjoyed it. I left the theater, I was like, it's a good popcorn movie. And it made me smile. We'll see what they do with that now. I really got a kick out of the Justice Gang. He did too. He said so hilarious. He kept saying it's hilarious. They keep calling themselves the Justice Gang. What time we got? I'll probably shut this down at 1 if you guys are all right with that. It's a pretty calm night. I'm glad you guys hung out with me. I appreciate it so much. It was okay. Not good, but okay. I liked it. I thought it was good. But I go see a lot of those movies just for what I call the popcorn. I can sit through it, watch it. Maybe I'll watch it again later today, maybe on a rainy day, but I would probably watch that again. I would probably, when it comes out, I'll probably buy it. I like to have my hard media. you ever lose power, you can't watch a streaming service. You've got a generator. At least you can plug in the TV. No, yeah, I heard the same thing, Chris. That Fantastic Four was much better. And that was the movie I was worried about the most, to be honest. I was a big Fantastic Four guy. Well, I wouldn't say a big guy, but they were in more. I tried to explain Giles. When it comes to Marvel, I had my top 10. And the bottom 3 would always kind of rotate. But I've always been a DC guy, only because I inherited all that stuff. Have you ever seen Talk to Me? It does sound familiar. Why does that sound so familiar? Is it a newer movie? I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I'm probably not. I'll have to look it up. Talk to Me. Why does it sound so familiar? It does sound like a newer movie within the last couple of years, right? Wait for people to type. That's the thing. When I'm talking to you folks, I got to wait for you guys to type. But I do want to appreciate everybody showing up. Vixen, if you're still in the background, there's Mr. Nightmare. Oh, there it is. There he is. Nightmare coming in for the rescue. Thank you, Nightmare. I'm going to check it out. Oh, no, I have not seen this yet. I have not seen this yet. I'll have to check. Oh, this is about the hand. Okay, yeah. No, I have not seen this yet, but I heard it was really pretty good. Thank you, Nightmare. And hello and evening to you, good person, you, sir. Okay, yeah. Last week, the chapter did a story about the killer. And yeah, either send me the link. Either send me the link. I appreciate you, Nightmare. You always seem to do that. You and Chris both. Send me the link or send Gemma the link. Send me the link and I'll make sure she gets it. Then I guess that stuff that went on the other day. Then something was going down not too long ago in Jersey. But yes, is that the channel, the chapter? Is that the name of the channel? Either put it on here and I'll copy it, paste it, and send it to her later. I got to send her the link for an interview with a vampire. She'll love that. That will make her day tomorrow. I'll have her wake up to it. Who? I don't want to send it now. She'll kill me. Don't go off in the middle of the night if she's already up watching me. 2022. Yeah. I remember when it came out. That was a movie I did want to see in the theater and didn't get a chance to see. And I haven't seen it on streaming services yet, but I'll find it. It's probably in one now. Again, thank you, Mr. Nightmare. If you are Mr. You are a sir. I always ask you this because I don't want to insult anybody. Happened in her. Well, yeah. She grew up in Patterson. I guess I would. But yeah, it happened in her home, in her town. Yeah, I know. She doesn't live in Patterson now. Netflix. Thank you, Uso. Yes, I'll have to go watch it because I do. Man, it's still just rumbling out there. I haven't seen much lighting, but it is still rumbling. Let me see where we're at. It's still going over us. That's turned out to be a pretty big storm. We might get a little bit more before the end of the day. There's still, tell you what, northern Indiana is getting some pretty nice little storms. So is right above St. Louis. Man, it's right above St. Louis is getting pounded, right above Alton. And then between Alton and Springfield. I had to turn off the radar, my weather radio. That thing was going off consistently. We've got flood warnings out, flash flood warnings out. It's just training through here right now. You guys are getting a breakdown south for a bit. Anyone near you? Trump mad at he may be causing the storms? I'll tell you what. I do live in pretty much a Democratic area. Most of these people are Democrats here in Worthington, which is fine. There are a few Republicans. I'm not. I'm just an American. I don't look at political parties. Well, I watch political parties, but I don't participate in political parties. Yes, I vote and stuff, but every time they ask me what I am, I always just say it. I'm American. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a right. I'm not left. I'm not a nationalist or a socialist. I'm just an American. That's my politics. What's best for America and the people of America. No, I don't agree with everything that's going on. But then again, that's politics. But it's possible. They'll probably blame it for that's still going now. It's still lighting up the tree. Still lighting up the window. Yeah, this one looks like it might be just hanging out. They kind of came over us and just kind of, it's just kind of longer and long. They got a little bigger. First, it looked like it was going to shrink down, but it's just kind of hanging. It keeps looking like it's supposed to dissipate, but it just, we'll see. Once a radar passes now, it's just predicting what it will do next. Fun to watch, though. I'm enjoying the Obama thing. Yeah, this does not get too political. So no offense, because I love talking it, but Gemma keeps from the politics because it's so divisive now. And we have everybody from all worlds in this channel, so we kind of watch the politics. But yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some crazy stuff is going on right now. Oh, you're good, dude. I just letting you know. I'm sure you've heard me say it before because I used to have somebody. I still have somebody comes in and gives me a hard time about it. It's like it's not my say. It's Gemma's say. This is Gemma's channel. Gemma says no politics. I got to keep it no politics. But yeah, you're good. You're good because if I think Gemma's the same way. If we could open our. We may do another channel where we can just stream Fortnite and make our peace. But right now, she likes this channel, and I don't blame her. She worked hard for this channel. And get caught. Yeah, I don't want to get caught. You don't want to mess with Gemma when she's upset. She carries that shank in her purse. Her purse alone is just a deadly weapon. So, yeah, you don't want to mess with her. You don't want to make her mad. She can't fire me. I work for free. I'll just go back down to the cave and call it a day. Oh, yeah, good luck. You're going to be waiting for GTA 6 forever. Will the game ever come out? I've seen people have actual betting going on if the game's ever going to see the light of day. The promise that keeps on promising. I don't mind GTA. I still play it. I got to re-download it because Gemma and Little Man have been playing it. So I guess I'm going to have to get back in the swing again so I can just show up on them one day and start gunning them down. Sounds awful. It's a game, Fortnite. My verbs, I'm good. Okay. All right, guys. I hate to cut it short, but it's quiet. I'm quiet. And this storm's actually making me nervous because it's actually looking like it's going to, on the radar, looks like it gets a little nervous. Plus, I want to settle in for the night. Thanks for hanging out with me, Uso and Chris. Nightmare. thank you 1,000 times over. Both you and Chris, the way you guys come in here at the right point, right time. I have to show Gemma some of my knives, especially my people only knives that you don't want to do that. She might give her ideas. So Vixen, if you're still out there, sweetie, thank you for stopping in and saying hi. I'll be talking to you probably soon. Anybody else hanging out in the background? Thank you for hanging. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Have a good Sunday. I believe she will have a Tuesday night video, since their Tuesdays now at 10 p.m. ET. She wasn't sure what she was doing. She had a couple ideas. That's probably what she'll do tomorrow, is do her filming. I'm going to make sure I mark these links. I want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful start of the week. I'll probably see you. I'll be in chat. I should be in chat Tuesday night for her premiere at 10 ET time. And then I should be here Wednesday night for just regular old chit chat. I don't know why I call it spooky time, since we just thought I may discuss some things about what's going on around here with what I've been seeing. I've been wanting to. It's getting kind of crazy. So we might discuss that. Everybody have a wonderful one. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace out.